Donald Trump is a chump. He has a big fat rump. Every time he turns around, his jaws go chump, chump, chump on democracy. Am I being silly? Maybe. But consider this. Donald Trump is the reincarnated spirit of Benedict Arnold, and I can prove it. First, as with most reincarnated spirits, dates play a major role. Benedict Arnold died on a June 14th. Donald Trump was born on a June 14th. Now, if sharing a day of the year was all there was, I wouldn't be wasting your time here. But there is more. Way more. Actually, more Moors than the Moors who invaded Spain. Allow me to pontificate. Benedict Arnold supported the British enemy during our struggle for independence. Read any history book and you'll see he did this for three major reasons. One, he was an egomaniac who felt no one was better, stronger, or smarter than him. And so when he was passed up for a leadership position in the Revolutionary Army, he considered them idiots for not seeing his great genius. Two, he was greedy. Benedict Arnold had been reprimanded several times for using his military positions for personal gains. For instance, he once let a whole town starve while he ate like a king every night by closing the stores to the general public. He was actually court-martialed for that shady dealing, but then given back his military command by George Washington, who, like today's political leaders, couldn't see that this egomaniac posed a threat to the independence of the United States. 3, Arnold owed the enemy, Banks of London, a shitload of money. Okay, now let's look at Donald Trump. Like Arnold, Trump is a narcissistic egomaniac. Do I really need to have to demonstrate this? No one, even those who support his bullshit, doubt that this guy is just an egomaniac nut. The guy bullied his way into the front of a group of world leaders so he could be in the front of the photo. It's kind of, definitely not American, if not anything else. Something, you'd think maybe the Soviet leader would do, right? Or definitely the North Korean guy. I'm going to be in the front of the line. Not the American guy. Donald Trump did that. And the guy said last week on television that the world needs his brain. That without it, we will fail. It's all because of his brain that America is great. Then there's the greed thing. Now, instead of listing the numerous samples of Donald Trump's greed, I'll just quote the Donald himself from his words in January 9th, 2016, when he said, "I like money. I'm very greedy. I'm a greedy person. I shouldn't tell you that I'm greedy. I've always been greedy. I love money." Yes, Donald, we know you like money. And that's probably why you had your hair dyed the color of gold bunion. And of course, there is the indebtedness to the enemy thing. This one is the hard one to figure because it goes to so many levels. Here are the cliff notes. As the communist plan was failing, KGB officers were given huge bonuses so they could buy up as many assets as possible. And they did. They also needed a safe place to put the money. And so steps in the one American with no allegiance to this country, Donald Trump. Details are foggy, but trust me, they are coming out. And when this happens, this will be the worst time ever in the United States history.
Trump has had trouble getting loans from U.S. banks following his multiple bankruptcy filings since 1991. We know from a speech that his son, Donald Trump Jr., made in 2008 that Russian investors have played a big role in financing Trump projects ever since.
Did you know that Benedict Arnold wasn't hung? He escaped back to England to avoid being hanged. And he lived out his disgraceful years there. Of course, he was considered shit there too, because no one likes a traitor. There are some other reincarnated spirit things to consider. In his memoir, Benedict Arnold wrote, "I like blondes. Hey." Of course, Donald Trump likes blondes too, especially porn star blondes named Stormy Daniels. Then, long before the Access American Hollywood tapes came out, where Donald Trump brags about grabbing a woman's pussy because he can, Benedict Arnold wrote in his memoir, "The main chance of success in assaulting a wall fortress is to take her by surprise. Thus, an assault is ever preferable to a siege. But again, as in the case of a lady, it is more difficult to talk surprise than to succeed in surprising her." So yes, Benedict Arnold was a pussy grabber too. Both Arnold and Trump were really assholes about their support for the American soldier. Arnold called the Navy a motley crew for passing him up for a promotion. And after he was court-martialed, said, "My leg is worth more than the whole U.S. Army." Then Donald Trump said, and I have to pause and tell you, as a veteran of the United States Navy, this one disturbs me most. It makes anything Jane Fonda did or say in the 60s look patriotic.
But, you know, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that, because I don't like losers. But Frank, let me get to it. He hit me. He's not a war hero. He's a war hero. He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
He said that. And then, and this one I hate to tell you, but it's so crazy, it has to be true. Then there are the similarities of their wives. Both around 20 years younger, and both questionable allegiances to their country.
A family of spies.
This is History Unwrapped with your host, Gary DeMar.
Benedict Arnold's wife, Peggy, may have been providing secrets to the British even before her husband became a turncoat during the War for Independence. Socialite Peggy Shippen was 18 when she married Benedict, a widower at the age of 37. The Arnolds enjoyed the good life and were continually in debt from spending more money than Arnold made. Arnold's motives were personal, not political, when he became a spy for the British. His greedy desire for money and his wife's encouragement were behind his decision. Evidence suggests that Peggy Arnold hated the American cause and promoted her husband's plan to switch allegiance. The Arnold's desire for money did not bring much happiness. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil.
American Vision brings you History Unwrapped and The Gary DeMar Show. You can always watch more at AmericanVision.org.
Now compare this to Melania Trump, who was raised in a communist socialist country and speaks Russian. Man, I mean, could she have been planet? You don't think so? You don't think Russia would go to that extreme? I mean, you at least got to look at it. You can't. You got to be kidding me. Turn off Fox News for 3 minutes and just read the facts. It's not coinky-dinky, folks. It's coinky-stinky. You know, back in 1801, we didn't have a political party supporting the English enemy like we do today. With the Republican Party's acceptance of the Russian meddling in the U.S. elections because their side won, well, they are now accomplices.
Putin decides what he wants to do, and he does it in half a day. He makes a decision, and he executes it quickly. Then everybody reacts. That's what you call a leader.
People are looking at Putin as one who wrestles bears and drills for oil. They look at our president as one who wears mom jeans.
I respect Putin. He's a strong leader. If he says great things about me, I'm going to say great things about him. I've already said he is really very much of a leader. I mean, you can say, oh, isn't that a terrible thing he called? I mean, the man has very strong control over a country.
You know, I had a top secret clearance in the U.S. Navy. And one of the many training films they showed us was how Russians were trained in obtaining little things from you, such as a briefcase you accidentally left in a hotel room. And even though there were no secrets in it, they would use it against you. They would tell you that they're going to turn it in and get you in trouble. And you had to face the fact that you had given a suitcase to the Russians, even though there were no secrets in it. They knew this. And so the good thing to do was to come up to your commander and say, look, I've compromised us, but there were no secrets in there. You know, and that's what the Republican Party needs to do. But obviously the whole Republican Party now supporting Donald Trump has been compromised and are working for the Russians now to protect their own ass. And Fox News is their propaganda machine covering up the lies. I shit you not. In 1958, the Russian country, then called the Soviet Union, not that that matters. The leader Khrushchev said he would bury the United States without firing a weapon. Now we know how. The current Russian leader, Vladimir Putin, who Donald Trump thinks is a really, really neat guy, is an ex-KGB officer. And when he was running for president of Russia, he said the United States was a problem, and if elected, he would destroy us. Period. He had a campaign, and I shit you not, make Russia great again. I had lunch with a Republican friend the other day who said, Putin isn't the bad guy. Did you know that they have a flat tax? Are you shitting me? I said. He's a dictator. You know, he started laughing. And you know what he says? Fake news. Fake news. Unfortunately, it's not fake, nor is it funny. Either Donald Trump goes or democracy goes. You choose. Or should I say, Tvoy vybor, which is Russian for you choose. Join me next week when we discuss Stormy Daniels' new book and how she describes Donald Trump's private part as a nuclear bomb mushroom cloud. Yikes.
It's called Winitsa and is located in the central Ukraine, one of the southern Soviet socialist republics. The entire town is a huge school designed to train Soviet youth how to live, think, and react like their American counterparts. They drive American cars and obey American traffic regulations. They follow the latest news of America, from sports to Hollywood scandals. Their English is not only flawless, but they specialize in dialects and accents. All of the inhabitants in town are instructors. They coach the students how to conduct themselves. They're even taught how to buy like an American. The only genuine feature about Winitsa is the fence that surrounds it. Winitsa, school for spies. Small town USSR.
This ungrateful country will soon wish that it had treated me with more respect. That faction-ridden Continental Congress will regret its insults and accusations.